Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make this ring that I showed you in the Acrylic 101 video, the Crafting with Clear Acrylic 101 video. So I did show you how to bend like the links to make this bracelet, but making the ring is a little bit more advanced and we're going to go over the steps today. I've been having so much fun playing with these clear tiles. I am just completely addicted right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is find a heat resistant surface, and since I don't want to heat directly on my mat because it will warp, I'm just using my drying rack to kind of lift up my silicone mat a little bit so I can heat on that. And now what I want to do is find a tile, and here is one of the tiles from Punch Place Plus. Now if I just curled this into a circle, it's going to be way too big to be a ring. In fact, the leftovers from the other ones I made, I used to make these earrings because that's how much I had left over. So I need to cut 3/4 of an inch off of this. So I'm just going to set this aside because I completely forgot I had to do that step. Okay, so I'm going to use an X-Acto knife and my grid here to score 3/4 of an inch away from the end. So I'm just going to do a couple scores. Now I'm going to flip it and I'm going to score directly over it on this side here. Now this is the same technique you'd use if you were cutting a large sheet of plexiglass to go into a picture frame. So let me just zoom in a little bit. I just want to show you that. I want to show you that score line. Can you see that score line? All I did, I just want to go over this again because I want to zoom in. I want to make sure you understand this. All I'm doing, I'm not trying to cut through it, I'm just scoring on that line. Medium pressure, like I'm cutting cardstock. It's nothing heavy duty. And then what I need to do is find a hard edge to snap this against. So I've got a ruler here, and it's got a nice sharp right angle on the edge. So I'm putting this right, that score line. Can you see that score line there? Maybe if I flip it over, it's right there. You see that? I've got that score line right on the edge of that corner, and then I'm simply going to snap it. Okay, so then I've got this perfectly smooth edge. And if you're making a bunch of these, save these tiles, drill a hole in them, and you can make earrings. So let's zoom out and let's get our heat mat back here. And you can actually leave the plastic on until you're all done. It will not hurt a thing. In fact, it might keep your nasty old fingerprints off of it. Especially, mine are real nasty because I've been playing with alcohol ink. So the thing with this is, and I'm going to let the camera run as we do it, is that you really need to get this hot, okay? You have to make sure it's completely heated evenly through, or the plastic will want to crack on you, will want to kind of splinter a little bit because we're really forcing it to bend a lot. Okay, you can even see my protective film is kind of disintegrating there. That's not a big deal. So I would do this 3 times for a bracelet, but I'm going to do it like 5 times for this part to be a ring. Now you're going to need something to mold this against. And I have a ring mandrel, so I'm going to use that. That should be good and hot. And this is a ring mandrel. It just is like a tool you'd use if you're wrapping wire or if you just wanted to size a ring or something. And I am just going to use it, let that help guide me. And then I do want to try to get those ends to meet. Now if it cools off before you get a chance to get it all the way around, you can reheat it, so it's not a big deal. Like I feel like I probably want to reheat that maybe to get that flatness out. So I think I do. I think I want to reheat that there. I just want to get that flat edge. And you can tell it's heating when it starts to bend back on you. Just be careful because it's hot, okay? This is not a project for children. Plus, you know, I don't really smell any fumes here, but I am heating plastic. I'm heating acrylic. I'm working in a well-ventilated area, but I'm not going to let my children do this project. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's a plastic and I'm applying heat. I have seen a lot of crafters do this, especially people building more industrial type projects. So, you know, use caution, but I think you'll be fine. Alright, so there we have our lovely ring, and it's pretty crystal clear. I'm trying to see if there's any cracks or anything. I don't really see any. It seems to have done really well. It's probably like a size 7, so if you cut about 3/4 of an inch off, you'll get like a size 7. That's about the size of my pointer finger. My ring finger's like a 5, so it's way big for that. But if you're doing a man's ring, you might leave it a little bit bigger, just to, you know, give you a little perspective, but you also don't have to go all the way closed. You could leave a gap, so, you know, really you could do whatever size you want. All right, so I've already colored one of these. What I did was I just plopped one of these in a baggie, and I squirted in some alcohol ink and smushed it around, and you know, that's how I like to color things, because it keeps my fingers cleaner than they would otherwise be. And I think you can kind of see it in there. I've just colored that one. That's going to take a while to dry, but I have one already colored and dry. And here's another idea I had, but I don't really know how to implement it. I had this cute little piece of paper that said "I love you," and I cut it and I put it in there, but I've had a hard time decoupaging against the curved acrylic. So if you guys have any ideas on how I can glue that in there and like seal it so it doesn't like get damaged when you wash your hands, let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate it. Okay, so here is one that's already dyed and dried, and I came across a couple problems making these rings. So here's the one that I've been wearing. The thing is that it's really easy for this wire to slide off. These are smaller beads, so it stays on a little easier. I tried making one with a large bead, and I just couldn't get the wire tight enough to keep it on there. So honestly, what I think I would do is I would just dye a bunch of these and put them in a bin for $1 in my craft booth and leave it at that. But if you do want to decorate them, go with a finer wire, because it's not going to be structural. It's not going to really hold anything on there. Take about, I would say, 10 inches or so of artistic wire. This is just a 26 gauge stuff I've been working with. And put on a couple smaller beads, because bigger beads are going to make it really hard to wrap your wire tight enough to keep it to stay on, and you don't want it falling apart on you or catching on your sweater or anything. So I'm just putting 3 tiny beads on here. All right, and then I'm going to wrap this around my beads so that it is opposite the seam. Okay, so I got my seam on one side, my beads on the other. And then I am just going to take this around, and I think, you know what, I think the way I can get this the tightest is if I just feed this through my beads again. Let's see if I can get through all 3 of them. Got through 2. Can I get through that 3rd one? I was thinking if I could feed that through, that might work. But you know what? Maybe I'll just bring it up and try wrapping it next to my beads. They kind of want to slip around. Beads are slippery. This acrylic material is slippery, so it's really kind of a tough combo to work with. Not so much on the earrings, because you can, you know, put a hole in there and give it something to anchor to, but on this slippery ring it's really quite difficult. But I would just wrap up both sides like that, trim off the ends, and call it good. But honestly, I think I would recommend skipping the wire, because look, I can't even get that. That's not even going to be tight enough. I think I would recommend skipping the wire altogether and just doing a bunch of colorful fun acrylic beads that can be put on a craft show. This one worked first try, beginner's luck, I guess. These other ones I'm having a hard time keeping the wire on, so I would just dye them and put them in a bowl and let them look pretty. Thank you so much for watching. The acrylic tiles I used for this are from Punch Place Plus if you want to find them for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.